Okay, let me start the recording. Okay, now we are up to vitamin B12. Okay, and we call it cobalamin, which is also cyanocobalamin. You can also call it cyanocobalamin, or you can call it cobalamin. Okay, so you have to remember the names of the vitamins. Okay, all the names of the vitamins, not only this one but all of them. So now it is a cofactor for, you see, again in every vitamin it is written that this vitamin is a cofactor or coenzyme for a certain thing. So you have to remember that's a differentiating point in all the vitamins, and that is the MCQ thing. So here, previously you read it was a cofactor for methylation reactions. In B7 you read it is a cofactor for carboxylation. So now in B12 it is a cofactor for methionine synthase. Okay, methionine synthase. And what does methionine synthase do? This methionine synthase, okay, in this picture, this methionine synthase, what it do? It transfers the methyl group as methyl cobalamin. Okay, it transfers the methyl group. This is a methyl group, okay, CH3. So it is, if this enzyme is not present, okay, or if this vitamin B12 is not present, this enzyme will not work. If you will not have B12, this enzyme will not work, homocysteine will not be converted to methionine, okay, and then you will not be able to make this SAM, okay, SAM. There was some name for SAM, I kind not of remember what is its full form, but I will sure search and I'll tell you, okay. So for now, just remember that this is a cofactor for methionine synthase, okay, so you have to remember this word. Don't remember everything or this whole process, just remember this word. But honestly, I'm telling you, the more you will revise, the more you will remember. So revision is a key point to remember. Okay, and then it is also used in another enzyme. There are two enzymes. All the enzymes have ASE in end. Okay, all the enzymes have ASE in end. So you see methionine synthase, methyl malonyl CoA mutase, again ASE. So all the enzyme names end up with ASE. Okay, that's a key point to know if this is an enzyme or if this is a substrate or a product. So that's the difference. So it is used in here also. So you have to remember this and this. So now if you don't have B12 and you don't have this enzyme, you will not be able to form succinyl CoA, and succinyl CoA is an important substrate for the heme synthesis. Okay, you have studied that in vitamin B6, the vitamin B6 is important for heme synthesis. And if you remember, I told you an enzyme in the previous lecture, alpha aminolevulinic acid. That was very important for the heme synthesis. That was a rate limiting step of heme synthesis. So at that particular level also B6 is important. So it is important in this step and in that step also. And also succinyl CoA enters the Tca cycle. The Tca cycle is not started from here, okay? Succinyl CoA is one of the product of Tca cycle. So if you remember, or like if you have your book right now, I can tell you the page number rather than going myself at that point. I can tell you the page number of the, you can open your Tca cycle in your biochemistry books, and the page number is 77. Okay, it is on 77 in your first aid, and there is this step, succinyl CoA, which is an intermediate in heme biosynthesis. If you wait for a second, let me open my book. Okay, wait a second, please. So this is metabolism. Okay, where is my meeting? So you see now, not this, not this, not this, this one. Okay, you see this picture, if you can see, I mean, like, zoom it a bit. This is like a picture from my, I have made my book in a PDF format too. So if anyone wants, you can like ask me, I can send you that too. So it, this, you see, this is step succinyl CoA. This is an intermediate in heme biosynthesis. I've written it over here also. This is how you need to, like, this is how you need to remember Tca cycle for MCQ purposes. Okay, so it's not that simple. So here, if I take you back here, you can, we were studying that this is succinyl CoA is an intermediate for heme biosynthesis, and it is also entering Tca cycle. So it is a product of Tca cycle too. Okay, so remember this succinyl CoA, and also wait a second. Also, you have this picture in your book, which is page number, I guess it is page number, the first page of your metabolism, page number 72. In your page number 72, you see this Tca cycle. So you see the succinyl CoA over here also. So this is like they're showing how they're going into different mechanisms. Okay, so there's a lot when we like come on with metabolism. When we will start studying metabolism after vitamins, the next topic will be metabolism. I will be teaching you this whole things. So for now, just kind of remember that it's a cofactor for methionine synthase and methylmalonyl CoA mutase. So if we will not have this, okay, if we will not have this B12, we will shut down heme synthesis. Okay, we will shut down TCA. So we will shut down these two things. Very important. And also, if we will not have B12 at this level, okay, we will not be able to convert homocysteine, and the levels of homocysteine will increase. Okay, so you will see increased homocysteine in your blood, increase homocysteine in your blood. Okay, so important, very important. Okay, let's come to the deficiency. Okay, now again, same. Now you see, these are same, so they don't ask these things in MCQ. They will not ask that you will see macrocytic megaloblastic anemia in which vitamin deficiency, but they will ask you, you will see a megaloblastic anemia along with neurological symptoms, or along with subacute combined degeneration, which we called SCID in short. Okay, in which vitamin deficiency? So whenever you see a nerve is involved, or you are having some neurological symptoms and signs, then you have to take vitamin B12. Okay, not B9. So paresthesias, like paresthesia means numbness, okay, and subacute combined degeneration. What happens is vitamin B12 is responsible for this myelination also on this neuron. So when you will not have this, because it is important for the DNA synthesis, okay, so when you will not be having this, you will have this problem, and you will have the problem in the conduction of impulses. So there will be a degeneration of your dorsal columns, okay, your lateral corticospinal tracts, and also your spinocerebellar tracts. But For your PMDC exam, you don't need to remember this, but for your USMLE exam, you have to remember this. Okay. So the complexity of MCQs varies with the examination you are giving. So don't worry about these tracks. We will be studying these tracks in neurophysiology and neuroanatomy. Okay. Again, due to abnormal myelin. Okay, that I told you that it is important in the formation of myelin sheath. So when we will be lacking this, there will be a problem in conduction because myelinated fibers have fast conduction. Okay. Then they're associated with increased serum homocysteine. As I told you, no B12 increase homocysteine levels in your blood, and methyl malonic acid levels also, like no this, so increase this levels in blood. So these levels, both of these levels will be increased in blood. Okay. Serum means blood, along with secondary folate deficiency. Okay, because if you don't have this, this is also helping in the formation of THF, which is tetrahydrofolate. So you will have a secondary, not primary. Whenever there is a deficiency of B9 and you are not forming this, that will be called a primary deficiency. But because of B12 you are not able to form this, that will be a secondary folate deficiency. Okay. And then prolonged deficiency will lead to irreversible nerve damage, and nerve damages are always irreversible. You can't revert it. So in vitamin B12, these all things are important. Okay, many of the things I've told you are important. This for MCQs, this for MCQs, and all others. Then we have this found in animal products. So please wait for a second. So we have this animal products, found in animal products, and then synthesized only by microorganisms. Okay, so you have to remember that it is found in animal products, but B9 is mostly plant derivative. Okay, so uh, very large reserve pool, several years, is stored primarily in liver. So this is important. 3 to 4 years. Okay, you will see it being stored in your liver for like 3 to 4 years. So years is important. Remember 3 to 4. Okay, 3 to 4 years, not months. And again, liver deficiency will caused by malabsorption. So I told you what is the location of B12? It is ileum. Okay, ileum. So there is this disease which is called tropical sprue, or you call it celiac disease. So celiac disease, what happens in celiac disease or tropical sprue? It is same. Celiac disease and tropical sprue is same. Okay, tropical sprue is seen in like tropical areas, mountainous areas. Okay, so that's the name, tropical sprue. But the pathology inside is same. What happens is there is this lining of intestine like this. This is, for suppose this is an intestinal lining. Okay, and these finger like projections in the intestine are called villi. Okay, what happened in this disease is this villi are these villi are flattened. Okay, these villi are flattened. So because they are flattened, okay, the gluten, the substances which have gluten in them, gluten is a carbohydrate, right? So they are not able to absorb. So we see this sprue and celiac disease with B12 deficiencies too. So if the patient has these diseases, you have to prescribe them B12 along with the original treatment of celiac disease or tropical sprue. Similarly, in the case of enteritis, when there is inflammation of your gut lining, also, this is a very important MCQ, diphyllobothrium latum, important. Okay, Very important. This is a fish, Diphyllobothrium latum. No, sorry, this is not a fish. Basically, this is a worm inside a fish. Okay, this is a worm. I think it is a tapeworm. I don't remember if it is a ring or a tape, but I think you can check for your general knowledge. Diphyllobothrium latum is a worm, and it is present inside the fish. So if you eat that fish which has this worm, you don't know definitely. Okay, so you can get B12 deficiency because this worm don't let B12 absorb in your gut lining. Okay, so this is an important MCQ. So you can be asked sprue, you can be asked Diphyllobothrium latum. Okay, and then you have this terminology, Alkalohydria. Okay, so what is Alkalohydria? It is, I have to close this pen. So it is the absence of hydrochloric acid in the gastric secretions. Okay, so the patient will not be having what we can say, HCl. The patient will not be having HCl. So achlorhydria. A means no, so no HCl production. So when there will be no HCl production, there will be delayed gastric emptying. Okay, because when the food is digested, then it goes out into the small intestine, right? So delayed gastric emptying. So all of these conditions can also cause disruption in vitamin B12. Okay, and bacterial overgrowth, alcohol excess can also cause, because it's stored in the liver. So both B9 and B12, you can see the deficiencies if the patient is taking alcohol. Okay, and then lack of intrinsic factor, very important, very important. Okay, important, very important for MCQ, very important. Write it down. Lack of intrinsic factor. Okay, intrinsic factor is the one which is helping your B12 to absorb in your ileum. So your intrinsic factor is helping B12 to absorb in the ileum. Okay, so pernicious anemia is the anemia in which you lack intrinsic factor. Okay, there is a difference between pernicious anemia, and there is a difference between what we can say in megaloblastic anemia, that is because of vitamin B12 deficiency. Okay, so pernicious anemia is different. So in this, the problem lies in the intrinsic factor. So you have to remember this, okay? And also your MCV count in all the megaloblastic anemias are more than 120. So this is also like your MCQ. The normal is, it's just for, you will study this in hematology, but 90 to 120 is the normal limit. And when you have more than 120, you will see this in B12 and B9 deficiencies in all the megaloblastic anemias, also in pernicious. Okay, so gastric bypass surgery is another. What do you mean by bypass? Is like, this is your stomach, and this is your duodenum and jejunum and ileum. Okay, let's say for example, this is your ileum. So you, there are surgeries in which you have to remove this ileum part, and after ileum you have this ascending colon. Okay, you have this ascending colon. So you have to join this ascending colon to this duodenum portion, or to this jejunum portion. So that is what we call bypass surgery. So we are bypassing a certain part the of the portion of your gut lining. Okay, we are bypassing it. So that is what we call bypass, gastric bypass surgery. So in that, when you will not have ileum, your B12 will not be absorbed because intrinsic factor works at the level of ileum. Okay, you will also see, now you see absence of terminal ileum. Again, the same point. Intrinsic factor works at the level of your stomach. okay, your stomach, near your duodenum. So it works at that level. So if you will have a gastric bypass surgery, if you will be lacking that portion, you will see the deficiency of B12. And if you do not have terminal ileum, you will also have deficiency of this. So these are two different concepts. Okay, these are two different concepts. No ileum, no B12 absorption, no intrinsic factor area, that is your stomach. Okay, no B12. So this is important. So you see the surgical resection in case of Crohn's disease. This is just an example. Okay, and then certain drugs, very important, remember for MCQ, metformin. Metformin is your which drug? Metformin is your oral hypoglycemic drug. We call it glucophage. Okay, so whenever the patient is taking glucophage, patient is taking metformin, so you will see this sort of a deficiency. Okay, metformin. And insufficient intake, vaginism. Okay, now this is a good point. Vaginism is the people who are vegetarian. Okay, the people who are vegetarian is what we call vaginism. So this B12 comes from animal products. Okay, so if you are vegetarian and you're not taking animal diet, you will not be able to absorb B12 because it's not present in animal food. It is only present in it is present in animal food. It is not present in your plant diet. So, okay, so I remember this point as well. But for your MCQ purposes now, like we are about to complete this. So what are the things that you need to remember? Remember methionine synthase. Remember methylmalonyl CoA mutase enzymes. Okay, and what happens when this process is shut down. Okay, remember anemia, megaloblastic anemia with neurological features. Okay, remember the word SCID. Okay, remember the lab values, increased serum homocysteine and methylmalonic acid levels. Okay, remember it is only present in animals, not in plants. Okay, then in deficiency causes, you need to remember sprue, you need to remember diphyllobothrium latum virid, you need to remember lack of intrinsic factor causes pernicious anemia. Okay, and in gastric bypass surgery also you will see this B12 deficiency. Okay, then you should remember surgical resection of terminal ileum, such as in Crohn's disease. You need to remember metformin drug too. So these are your MCQ points. Okay, now, and also this, sorry, I forget this. I told you because in B9 that it is important for the DNA synthesis. So you have to remember this point as well, important for DNA synthesis. No RNA, only DNA. Okay, and then we have this anti-intrinsic factor antibodies diagnostic for pernicious anemia. So this is basically your pathology point, but it's written here, so you can mark it for pathology purpose. Folate supplementation can mask the hematologic symptoms of B12 deficiencies, but not the neurologic symptoms. So it's the same thing that I told you, that in folate deficiency and B9 deficiency, when you are giving folic acid to a patient who comes with megaloblastic anemia, okay, and you do not know that it is B12 or B12 or B9, and you have given folate, so it will recover this problem with anemia. Okay, the hematologic symptom it is, but it will not cover your neurologic problems because B9 has nothing to do with it. Okay, so for that you have to give B12. So you should be very sure when you're working in a clinic and you see a patient with megaloblastic anemia, so you have to be sure that either he has B9 or B12 by checking his neurological features. Okay, you have to check his neurological features, and one of them is you have to check if he's having paresthesias or not. So this is one of the feature, okay, which you'll see in this deficiency. So here we kind of finished our B12, okay, and if I have any other point written, so let me open my book. So here nothing is new. I have told you everything. Like, I was just kind of checking if there is any MCQ left. So this is all about okay, this point which is written has no association with alcohol is like wrong. Okay, don't look at it. It's wrong written over here. So we are done with vitamin B12 too, and our next will be vitamin C. Okay, vitamin C, and then we will be studying vitamin D. So vitamin C and vitamin D both are long, so I am sure, because there is a lot in here, parathyroid hormone and all mechanisms. So we will be tomorrow we will be studying vitamin C and vitamin D, okay, in biochemistry. So today's class is done, and I'm sure you get the most of it. So our next lecture will be probably of I guess anatomy or physiology. Let's see. But it's 6:37, so we will be probably beginning our class at 7 o'clock, okay? Because I need a break. So now we will be beginning our class at 7 o'clock, and I will tell you if it will be physiology class first or anatomy class first. And I'll post the link in there. Okay, people? So today's biochem lecture is done, and I will be sharing the recording of today's lecture till night, because it takes a lot of time to process this recording. Okay, so thank you for joining the lecture today.